Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorial on Microsoft Excel. This tutorial focuses on building professional pie charts and it is done on Excel 2016. So we have a data here and what we want to do is plot a pie chart. A pie chart is one of the simple charts to plot, but we'll be looking at features that we can bring into our pie chart to make it look more professional. So to plot a pie chart, you should have your data ready. Yes, you could have a situation where your data is not ready, so you start plotting without the data. But it's much more ideal if you have your data ready, and then you select your data, click on the Insert tab, and go to the chart area here, the chart area, Insert tab and chart group, the chart group, and then you see different kinds of chart, but we are interested in the pie chart. And so we click the drop down button to see what kinds of charts we have there. We have 2D pie charts, 3D pie charts, and we have the donut chart. And we're focusing on the 2D pie chart, but the pie chart there. There are other kinds of pies there. For example, we have the pie of pie, and we also have the bar of pie. We'll be looking at this too in future videos. Today we'll be focusing on just the pie chart. So I'm going to click on it, and clicking on the pie chart, we have this. We can always resize the chart area. This is the chart area. So we can always resize the chart area, move it to any position that we want it. And that's it for us. You see. And we would notice that in this default format, we have got what I will call elements of the chart. We shall be looking at those elements in a bit. But before we do that, I want you to notice something. I want you to look at these tabs here, but especially here in this area. And what I want you to check and see is what happens when we click outside the chart area and when we click inside the chart area. When we click the chart area, you notice that we've got these two additional tabs, the design tab and the format tab. They are all chart tools. When you click outside it somewhere else, you see they no longer exist there. The reason they are there is because they are there to help us to format charts in the way that we want them. So let me start with the format chart and show you some of the things you may want to use from format in your pie chart. So not really much. This is the size group, and we already did resizing with our mouse, and so you can see the size changes when we do resizing in it. So you could also do it here. There isn't much in the arrange group because like you can see here, you see most of it is grayed out. And then these are word art styles. We will not be using the word art style here. And then we have the shape style. Yes, this can be helpful for us if we want to implement fill colors, like if we want to implement a fill color in the background in the chart area. Yes, we can do that. And then we can determine things like the color of the border of the chart area, and the color of any of the series within the charts, and the weight of the lines that we might want to use for all of that. So we could do that with the shape style group tools. Sometimes we want to have additional visualizations to our pie chart, and we want to use shapes to do that. So we have a lot of shapes here by which we could do that. We'll be implementing one in a bit later in this tutorial, but you should just know that it's here for you to use. And then the group, the current selection group. This is where you most likely will be doing a lot on your chart. So here it allows us to select why the chart area is selected and the format tab is active. You are going to see that we have different chart elements, like the chart area, which is currently selected, and then the chart title, you see that's selected, and then we have the legend that is selected, and then we have the plot area that's within, and then lastly we have the series, which is each of these pie in the chart. Now the reason why they are there is that when we select any of them, we can go straight and choose to format them. For example, we can choose the legend and say format selection, and so we get this sidebar here that allows us to do different things about it. For example, we can say we want it at the top, want it at the bottom, want it at the left hand side, the right hand side, a top like this, and whichever one we want it. So we can easily do that here. So we'll be looking at that soon, and then that takes us to the design tab. So here in the design tab, we've got other things we can also do. Let me just create a sheet so we can demonstrate certain things. For example, while we have selected the chart area and we are in design, we can move this chart to a chart sheet. So if we want it to a chart sheet, it's going to stay on its own, and this is what happens. So when we click this, here it is. So you see it's staying on its own on a chart sheet. No matter what formattings you have done on the chart, this you can always do. We can always move it back and say no, it should be an object in sheet 2. So here is it, it's an object in sheet 2. Or we can move it and say we want it to be an object in sheet 3, and that's it here. So it's in sheet 3 here. So let's move it back in sheet 2, and there it is for us, so we can walk and see what is happening here. So we can do that with the design tab and looking and the location group. So we can change the chart type here also. You see we have different kinds of charts that we can change it to, but we're working with the pie chart, so that's okay for us for now. And then we have the select data. What the select data does is actually, like you can see, it's telling us that the data it's using is coming from this range. So that's a chart data range. That's what we have it here. Well, for some charts, it might be ideal for you to switch, but here it's not ideal for us to switch. It doesn't make any sense to us, so we leave it as it is here. And then we have the legend entry, that's the series also. We could add, but it's not ideal for pie charts, could be ideal for bar charts. And we could do some editing, not much editing here. For example, this is the series name, and here is the series, all of the series values here. This is the series name expense here. So we could have also be able to come and manually put in these formulas in here, and then it will do the same thing for us. We'll get a pie chart out of it. So that's it for select data. And like switching, that's what we try to do inside here. So this is more ideal. So you could come into Chat Styles and actually pick any of these that may suit your choice of chats. Any of these that may suit your choice of chats. You could come and pick any of them and then implement them. For example, let me just make a copy of this. While I select the chat area, I'm going to hit on my Control D together, and that gives me a copy of what I have before. So we can just implement this, and then that is it for us. We have it here. However, we can use, and that's where we're coming to, that's add chat elements. We can use the chat element to just customize our formats to just what we want. I want you to also know that here we can choose color combinations for our chats, like this and this, and these color combinations helps to make our chat look much more professional. And once you implement that, you see that here you are able to see different things that you can bring into the picture in order to make your chat look much more professional. So I'm just going to leave this here. We're going to work on our own customizations. And then while we've done this, we could also use quick layouts here. So quick layouts help us to just put other elements that we could have done manually, yes, but it just puts them for us, and then we can just click on it and implement it, and then we have it there, just like that. Okay, so but it's always good for you to know how these things come about, so that you can tweak them to customize them in the way you would want. And that is where we have these chat elements here. So I'm going to make another copy of this. Control D gives us another copy here. So let's work with this and see what we can do with it. First, I like to use the change color tool to give it I think any of this looks professional. Okay, that's fine. So we have this here, and then we have this chat elements. So first is the chat title. You could choose that you don't want it, but it looks much more appropriate for us to have it. We can always change it. We could also include other things. For example, we can say that expense in dollars, and let's have a million. So that's it. So with that, we can have it that way. And you can also, for example, make it bold. You could choose a background color for it. You could choose a background color for it. Let's use a darker color and make the font white, so it appears like this. So so that's one thing you could do there. So let's go back to our chat elements and look at labels. So for labels, you have different options. You could do the none, you could do center, inside, outside, and so it looks like this. Best fit, and then we have the data call out. So these are different options that we can use. Let me just move this here so you could see a little more of what we're doing. Let me make it a little bigger. So what we're saying is that from these labels we could have these different types. So whichever suits you, you could just pick it and then use it, implement it. But sometimes we might want to do more than this. So you see this place here, it says more data label options. Just click on it, and when you click on it, you'll see options like values from cells. So that means we can include in any cell here what values we want to show here, and then we could include them, tick here, select those cells, and then it will be implemented in our chart. So what I'm trying to say is, for example, let me move this somewhere here. So assuming I wanted to use UN1 and then drag down to this, down to UN6. So here we could go to our design tab, pick labels more, and then that's where we have this. And so here, labels, and so we can say this, and it brings this range for us. So we select and OK. So here is it. So you can see that it's been implemented for us, and it's inside here. So what I'm going to do so that we see it much more clearly is to use white labels. Here, possibly if you want to change the labels in these other ones, you could change them to be black. So you could see, because the background is a little lighter, so it makes it more visible for us to see it in this way. So I may not want to use values from cells. I might be interested in the percentage of each of them. Oh, sorry. Let's go back to our design tab, and this time our format, and then we want to select the series. Okay, good. So we select the data labels here, and what we want to do is we want to bring in percentage. So here is it. So we can have the units, we have the percentage in there, and other things coming in. So let's take out these values from cells, and so it looks more like this. So it looks more like this for us. So if this is okay for us, we can just leave it and then go straight and implement it. So it might be better if we make it bigger. You can always move any of these labels to wherever you want. Just click twice on it, so it will be selected, and drag to any position that you want it to be. So like that, you could do it for just any of them. And while you deselect them, you could come back, select, it selects all of them. We can make them a little bigger, and we could make them bold. These we could have done here also, but you could just go straight and implement them here. And let me move this a little in. Okay, so that looks fine. And haven't done this, we might be interested in trying to highlight any of this series. And so what we can do is just double click on a series, click it twice, and then you could change the color to, let's say, red. So that tries to indicate that that's the highest expense of all of them. And also, while the series is selected for just this one, just for the reason that you want to highlight it the most, we've got these options here. You see, let me click out of it. So when you click in the series, it comes out. This is what comes out. And then you could just double click on that same one series, and then you could, you see, point explosion, so we're going to just do this. So it tends to highlight it and make it different. So you could also do it because this happens because we selected just that one, you know, just that one. So let's deselect, select all of them now. You can also select it while you are in the chat area. Go to format and then you select series, and that's going to select all of them. And then you click on the series option here, so it comes up again. So what you do in this case is that you could just, while all of them are selected, you could just, you know, do this, and so you see it's explode as if it were. And if you like it this way, you can keep it this way, it's fine. Let me just make it a little, let's leave it at 5. And so that is what we have here. So it's looking quite beautiful compared to what we had previously, compared to this. So this is what we have now. And one other thing that we can do is we could go to format, but this time around we will be selecting the plot area. So this is the plot area. There are some things you could do with the plot area that could make it much more professional. For example, this distance here, let's just increase it, and so see what is happening here. So let's increase this angle a little bit, so you can see that it's popping out, you know, it's popping out here. And you could decide to change the color that you want to use for it. I want to use something like a gray. And then how transparent is it? I'm going to reduce the transparency. So we have this. Let me just click out. So this is what you have. So it looks as if it's popping out of our chat area. Now you could appreciate it the more. Let's give a color to our chat area. Okay, let's use this for our chat area, and then we're going to change this. It's the effect element. So let's change this to black. Yeah, okay, so you can see it's popping out of your chat area. So that's one thing you could do. Let me increase the blur. Okay, so that's it. So you can see that it's looking something interesting now. Let's increase the size. Let's increase the size of this and make it bold so we can see it more. Or this looks better. And then the font size can be black. So that's fine. So now we can see what we want in here. And so if we compare it with what we have with other charts, this looks much more professional. And one last thing that we can do here is let's get a circle from the shapes. So I'm going to bring a circle here, and I'm just going to drag it in here. So we'll put it somewhere at the center here. And the fill color, we should make it white. And let's see. All right, it looks fine. So it's white. So what I really want to do is, you see, if we look at our data here, there is a total. So what I want is that total number to show inside here. So what I'm going to do is while I select that object, the circle object here, I'm coming to my formula bar and clicking inside my formula bar. I hit the equal to sign and then select the cell that has the total and hit enter. So you can see that I have that same total showing in here. So so I would like it a little bigger. Let's see how that could fit in there. Okay, so that's fine. So we have it in here. Can it go bigger? Let's see. Oh, now if you have it, if you want it to be bigger and you have this situation, what you need to do is double click on the object. I want to double click on the object. Okay. All right, so we right click and format the shape. I expected the double click to give me this, so you can right click on the shape and it gives you this same thing. And so we are actually looking for how to format this shape. So I'm going to click on the size and property and then just go down and look for text box. So text box. So you're going to see the left margin, right margin, top margin, bottom margin. So we are going to play with these things to see how it gives us exactly what we want. We want some space left and right. So I'm going to go to the left margin and I'll try to reduce it so you see it comes up there. And so I would have loved it to be at the center here. So I go to the top and increase it, and okay, so that's fine. And then let's see what we can do to the left. So if I increase the left, I don't see anything. So I'm going to reduce my right. So yes, reduce it to 0, and so I have something better now. I have something better. So that's fine. So in our chart, we're trying to say that whatever this total is, it splits among all of these units, and the percentage by which it's split is what we see. Is what we see here. So I'm not saying that this is how your chart should be, your pie chart, this is how ideally it should be. But with this tutorial, you've seen the different things you can play with to get a pie chart. We'll be looking at other kinds of charts in future videos. So why not stay in the channel by subscribing and then getting to know all of this in the near future. So I will be seeing you in yet another video. Thanks for watching.